Parents absolutely love the Ikea Antilop High Chair, but as a paediatric occupational therapist, I honestly hated this high chair. And that's because when I had a baby sitting in this high chair, I found that they were more restless, so meal times were more difficult. I found that they found it difficult to sit upright because the bucket seat was too big, and they tended to fall to the side as a result, and there was simply no footrest to give them that added postural support they need at 6 months of age. However, because parents love this high chair so much, there are now accessories that are being sold for this high chair, which when purchased in combined with the Ikea Antilop High Chair, as a paediatric occupational therapist, my viewpoint on this high chair is starting to change. So if you're thinking of purchasing the Ikea Antilop High Chair, make sure you stick around as I go through the pros and cons, which can help you decide whether or not this high chair is best for your baby. But before we do, make sure you click on that free PDF document in the description box below, which covers the developmental milestones you can be expecting for your baby in their first year of life. This will give you an invaluable peace of mind as you'll know what to expect and when to be concerned. Also, if you want to make parenting significantly easier, make sure you start now by subscribing to my channel, where you'll learn the tips and tricks I've learned over the last 10 years practicing as a paediatric occupational therapist and being a mum to 2 children. So make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a thing. So let's start with the pros. The first one is that this high chair is extremely cheap. In Australia, you can get it for $25, and in that you would get the high chair, a 3-point harness, and a tray. The second great point about this high chair is it is really easy to clean. The bucket seat itself and the tray is made of plastic, which you can easily wipe down, so that makes meal times less stressful for us as parents because we know that we can clean up that mess that is going to happen. Now, there is a supportive cushion that you can place in that high chair, which I would recommend purchasing. Now, with that, you can remove the cover by simply undoing the zip at the bottom, and then you can place it in the wash. The third positive for this high chair is it comes with a tray, but most importantly, that tray can be removed. And that means that high chair can slide up to the dining table and the baby can sit at the dining table for meal times. If you don't want to purchase the tray, I would say that's a great idea to save a bit of money. If you do want to use that tray is dishwasher proof, which is fantastic, but because it's made of plastic, you can simply wipe it if you don't want to place it into the dishwasher, which means it's easy to clean. The high chair itself is extremely lightweight. It is only 7.9 pounds, which is 3.7 kilograms. The ability to remove the legs of the high chair by simply pushing in a quick release button means that it takes up less storage space when needed because it separates into a seat and then the 4 individual leg poles. It's also really easy to assemble. You just slide the legs into the seating system. And lastly, there are now accessories which you can purchase for this high chair, including seat covers of different patterns, silicone tray inserts, as well as a footrest, which is definitely a must for a high chair. Now, the cons for this high chair include the bucket seat itself is too big for 6, 7, 8, 9-month-old babies. Even with that supportive seat insert, I find the bucket seat itself too big. As a result, babies, when they're sitting in this seat, will fall to the side, or they'll wedge their arm in between the tray, or they'll start to bring their legs up. And that's simply because they're trying to get some postural stability so that they can sit upright and eat. This then results in a baby who is very, very restless in a high chair, and then meal times as a result can become difficult. The second con for this high chair, which was the main reason I previously disliked this high chair, is that it doesn't initially come with a footrest. A footrest is really important on a high chair because at 6, 7 months of age, your baby is learning to sit. They're not able to sit for a long period of time. And if you do not provide a footrest when they're sitting in a high chair, they're going to fall to the side, they're going to find it difficult to sit upright, and they're going to be more restless in the high chair, which means meal times themselves are going to be more stressful. However, you can now purchase a footrest for this high chair, which I would say if you are looking at purchasing the Ikea Antilop High Chair, you must purchase a footrest, which is going to increase the overall cost. So in Australia, you can buy that footrest for $32. Now this leads me on to my third con for this product, is that you must purchase a lot of the accessories available for the Ikea Antilop High Chair for it to be a suitable high chair for your baby to use at 6, 7 and 8 months of age. So you must purchase the footrest, which is that $32. Then you should also purchase the seating support, which is $4, and then I would purchase the seating support covers, which is like another $7. So the overall cost of the high chair, when you include the base price of the high chair plus those additional must-have accessories, means that the high chair will cost you around $70 if you purchased it in Australia. Now if you wanted to buy that silicone insert for the tray, that would mean that the overall cost for the entire high chair would be around $90 in Australia. Now, parents have also reported that the tray on the high chair is extremely difficult to take off, which often results in parents simply leaving the tray in place. And then this means it's difficult for you to position the baby back into the high chair because you need to kind of weave their legs between the holes of the leg rest without actually being able to see it. This high chair also has an extremely low weight capacity, so it has a weight capacity of 15 kilograms or 33 pounds. Now my 2-year-old son is already at 15 kilograms. He is not overweight, so he would not be able to use this high chair, but he is still too small to use a standard dining chair, so I would then need to go purchase another high chair. So the weight capacity is definitely a negative when looking at this high chair. This high chair comes with a 3-point harness, which is a harness that goes around the waist and up through the legs. This is better than no harness at all, but it is not the best option. The best option and the safest option for a high chair is a 5-point harness, which is a harness that goes over the shoulders, around the waist and up through the legs. And lastly, this high chair does not have the ability to fold up. I don't actually think that's a huge negative, and that's simply because I don't think, and I have never seen parents fold up high chairs in between meal times, particularly when you're looking at that 12-month mark where they're eating every 2.5 hours. So not having a high chair that is foldable isn't a big deal for me. So those are the pros and cons of the Ikea Antilop High Chair. If you are going to purchase this high chair, make sure you do get that footrest as well as that supportive seat insert and cover, because it will mean that your baby's going to be better supported when using this high chair. Make sure you click on that free PDF document in the description box below, and hopefully I'll see you next week where I'll share more parenting tips and tricks.